Guys, sometimes you got to come out and you got to correct everybody on the platform because obviously there has been this little bit of a conversation that was leaked between Cam Newton and Josina Anderson, and everybody is automatically thinking that Cam Newton is playing the race card here, and me being the guy who calls out a lot of this nonsense, I'm here to tell you right now that that is not the case. As a matter of fact, I did not pick up on this at all. I kind of wish these people had actually maybe watched the podcast rather than just went off of maybe like 3 minutes, which, by the way, we will be playing here in a second. I'm here to really let you guys know that there are other reasons why Cam Newton is not in the league, and race is not the reason why, nor the way he dressed or anything like that. As a matter of fact, a lot of fans thought this was kind of funny. I mean, I'm putting up this photo now of Cam Newton at a press conference. He kind of looks like one of my grandmas with that kerchief there. And by the way, I'm not a Cam Newton fan or anything, even though I live in the state of which he played football in, that there being the state of North Carolina, seeing how he was a long-time Carolina Panther. But I'm not a Panther fan. I've let you guys know before I'm actually a Packers fan. But I have had kind of a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotions when it came to Cam Newton. I'll explain that here soon. But trust me, he was not playing the race card in this interview, which I will play for you guys here in a second. But it really pains me to say that a lot of people are getting this take wrong. And if you actually listen to it, you will find out that this guy doesn't seem to have, how do I say, any negativity in him at this moment in time or any negative feelings toward the NFL. Now, guys, let me go ahead and kind of explain Cam Newton first before we get there. And I'm even going to give you guys where it was I didn't like him and then how it was I eventually grew to develop a much, much more objective take. Back in 2011, when the Panthers drafted him first overall, and by the way, like I said before, I'm never a Carolina Panthers fan, but obviously living in the state, I do care about that team. I do have family that is fans of the Panthers. I think it was at the end of the Week 1 contest. I don't know if I can still find the clip, but apparently he had said, I had a good day today, but the rest of the team did not. Okay, that kind of struck me the wrong way. And, of course, over the next 2 seasons, attitude, this, that, and the other kind of struck me the wrong way as well. And, of course, in 2015, it kind of seemed to me like it was a little bit annoying. But after the 2015 season, Cam actually began to grow on me. I'm not saying this to put Cam down or anything. I'm just giving you guys my honest take on how it was I came to the feelings I have about him today. As a matter of fact, I kind of think Cam may have been a little bit, how do I say, given the injuries and everything, I kind of think that maybe Cam's career may have ended on the short end of the stick. He may have gotten the short end of the stick. I kind of wish the Panthers had maybe stuck with him, but don't worry, we'll talk about that more towards the end of the video. So I've got no ill will towards Cam Newton at all. I don't dislike him. As a matter of fact, I've actually grown to like him as a person, and I do believe he is an extremely positive role model in the black community, and I think he can be, which, by the way, we'll be talking about redemption in this video here as well. But a lot of people are thinking that Cam Newton said all this stuff here, and he gave off the vibe that the NFL, no NFL team wanted to bring him back because of his hair or what else is it, his dress, the way he carries himself. And some people have even asserted that he's playing the race card. I'm here to tell you guys right now, I don't think these people listen to the full clip or the full exchange. Now, guys, this is roughly 3 minutes long. I want to kind of get this entire thing in full context. Make sure you guys listen to it all the way through, and we'll come back on the other side and explain the rest of it.
What is it? A Zodiac collection.
Okay.
So yeah, so check it out, man. If you know, for anybody who's watching, Mashika hats based in LA and Montana.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Well, you know what I'm really curious, Cam, too, is if you feel like, and obviously we're going to get into these Met Gala looks really quickly here, but I just wanted to know, do you ever feel like your way of dressing, your hair, because at some point, obviously you took on wearing, you know, the dreads, and my parents are Jamaican, obviously. Jamaica is the center of Rastafarian culture, obviously, although people practice that around the world. Do you ever feel like it impacted you getting an NFL job, being accepted by a brand, or just how you're looked upon as far as employment and being the face of an organization?
It's been hinted, and I'm not changing. And I this is one thing I do understand about my stance, especially with the NFL. It's such a prestigious brotherhood, fraternity, you know what I'm saying? And whether I go back or not, I always can be able to say I did it at a high level. You know, where I'm at right now in my life, do I need the NFL? No. Does the NFL need me? Hell no. You know, and I think that understanding is the reason why I'm able to kind of just be fine, you know. But yeah, people have hinted towards to say like, Cam, we want you to go back to the 2015 clean cut Cam. But yeah, that was a different me. Like right now where I'm at, it's really embracing, who I am, right?
But
My
did you ever
children.
hear of a team specifically, like when you were vying for, job, particularly when you came back, obviously you ended up with the
Mhm.
Panthers or whatever, that you heard specifically that might have impacted as far as your look, the dreads, or just your style, or
No, you would, you would hints toward it. And, like I gained a lot of great counsel from a lot of people, right? And the thing that is always mentioned is, yo, Cam, you scaring people with how you look. And I would say, yo, like I'm not gonna name names, but there's other quarterbacks that's in the league that don't look like me, but they got long hair. They don't
Scared
sit with it. But I would just, you know, turn an eye to that and say, like, look, that's not the reason why I'm not in the NFL right now.
yeah, but I don't know that they're talking specifically. And let me be specific.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds a lot more like people saying we like you to get back to 2015 form. That sounds a lot to me like it doesn't really sound like a whole lot to be upset about. Also, something else too, he didn't strike me as somebody who was actually upset or broken or malicious about it. If anything, he seemed quite content and happy. A lot of people are out there saying stuff like, "Well, he used the race card in this interview." I didn't catch that at all. I really and truly did not. I mean, if you guys can find it for me, please say something. But I can go ahead and tell you right now, you're not going to change my mind on this one because I did not hear him say anything that said, "Well, yeah, the owners they didn't want to sign me because of my hair. They didn't." They didn't want to sign me because of my race. And then when he said there's dudes with longer hair than me, it seemed to me like maybe Cam was like, you know what, dude. And like I said, if you listen to the whole thing, he kind of tells you right there, he kind of tells you at the very, very end, if you take him in full context, I'm not in the league for other reasons, and he does not seem bitter about it. I didn't hear anybody who was playing the race card at all. Now, guys, I am from North Carolina. I've been raised in the South my entire life, and I've been around people of color my entire life. There are some men who do dress and put out a certain vibe, a little flamboyancy. Nothing wrong with that at all. I've never actually looked down on that in sports. And I don't think that any teams really looked down on that at the time. They may have been turned off a little bit, but I think what really matters is how a person performs on the field and how they perform in the locker room. Cam, it took him a while to kind of gain the locker room. I would say so was sometime in 2012, late 2012 season, going 2013, that he eventually won over the locker room. Now, Grant, like I said, he didn't ever win me over until after the Super Bowl season, where, of course, there's the infamous business decision where he didn't dive on the football, but that's not the reason why the Panthers lost that game. It was just a bad day overall for the offense, Cam included. But Cam kind of won me over, and I can also remember us attacking Cam Newton because he walked out of the press conference when in reality what really happened is that one of the Denver Broncos players, I think it was Chris Harris, was running his mouth a little bit too loud, and Cam just couldn't concentrate on what to give. People were attacking him over his maturity or his lack of maturity at that time, and he got a lot of heat, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was one of the guys that kind of helped pile on that. But then when I got the full story, I said, wait a minute, I need to kind of check myself here. So I think this is a little bit unfair given the fact that Cam was not using his race or anything like that. I think what the hell was going on was that Cam was telling you that he's actually quite content in life. Now, with that right there being said, let's talk about the whole going back to 2015 form. Now, a lot of people have said maybe you should cut your hair and get it back to there. I think the main reason why they want that is because of how good he was that season. Let me explain something to you right quick. Athletes, especially football players and baseball players, have certain little superstitions about them. Like, I don't know, like it's just very, very weird stuff. Like if I wear my socks a couple of days in a row, maybe I might go 4 for 4. Man, I'm wearing my basketball shorts, man, from college under my uniform. Just little stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that they want him to cut his hair and all that stuff there, but maybe it's more along the lines of I missed the 2015 form Cam, as I'll be explaining to you guys here in a second why he is not in the NFL. But before I do that, let's go back to the whole role modeling thing. I said earlier that I thought that Cam Newton could be a great role model in the African American community, in the black community, especially amongst black males. Go back to the podcast episode where he caught some heat for saying, "Can you cook?" Talking about ladies. People kind of misconstrued him over that. There was also that controversy where he had said he was surprised that a girl knew as much as she did about football. He probably genuinely was surprised. It's one of the reasons why I didn't beat up on him at times. Like, you know what, dude? I know there's a lot of girls out there who who are a lot better at sports nowadays and sports IQ and knowing sports, but at the same time, that was still surprising to some people, and people were piling it in. Like I said before, I spent about the first 4 or 5 years of his career going after his lack of maturity, but then when I got to finally understand who he was, read up on him, my mind changed about him. Now I have a much more objective worldview when it comes to the topic of Cam Newton. Let's go back in time and let's actually look at some men of color who've actually found a way to redeem themselves. Michael Vick. Let's talk about Michael Vick for a second. I was in the Marines when the whole dogfighting incident occurred, the whole illegal dogfighting, and how it was that they busted him and he went to prison. Now, I didn't like that, me being a guy who likes dogs, but I'm definitely no freaking PETA dude or whatnot. And by the way, I think that some of that community have actually forgiven him over this, but what did Michael Vick do? He went to prison. He took his licks like a man. He came out. He signed with the team. He had a couple of good years playing for the Eagles. Of course, he was the backup to McNabb one year. Then he got a full year well, not really a full year. So he came in relief for Kevin Cobb in week 1 against my Packers. But eventually, he had a good overall season and got that team to the playoffs. Now, granted, they lost in the first round. I'm not going to beat up on Eagles fans or anything. It's not what I'm doing here. I'm saying that Michael Vick eventually went out there and kind of made something of himself. Now, people still get on Michael Vick about being on Fox Sports, but let's just go ahead and be honest. He took his licks like a man. He eventually apologized. He did everything that was required of him. He donates to charities today, animal charities, dog charities specifically, and he's kind of came back from that. Mike Tyson had a lot of very, very bad things in his past. What did he do? He eventually got out there and redeemed himself. Now everybody loves Mike. You can redeem yourself. That's one of the things I hate about cancel culture is that cancel culture makes a person completely irredeemable, especially if it's coming from the left. Now, let me go ahead and tell you the real reasons why Cam Newton is not in the league. Cam's not in the league because he sucks or anything. It's because Cam can't do it anymore. Look, when Cam came up, like I said before, he had problems with the clubhouse, problems getting the guys on board. Finally, that 2013 season, the guys began to buy in him being their quarterback. He scrambled a lot. He ran up the gut a lot. He did a lot of feats. His arm was extremely strong. He always threw the passes a lot, very, very high. Like, it was definitely, like when Cam Newton threw a pass, it seemed like it just kept going, just kept going and going and going. He wasn't that accurate, but he found ways to make it work. I got to give the man credit for, I got to give him credit where credit is due. He was very integral to that 2015 team. The 2013 team was solid. In 2017, the Panthers had a solid year that year, but he kept getting injured. Shoulder injury, neck was bothering him, Liz Frank, ankle, all kinds of things bothered Cam Newton. And eventually the organization, when they got Matt Rule to become the head coach and they went a different direction, they let Cam Newton go, which I personally thought was not a good idea, even though I'm not a Panthers fan, because he had 2 more years on his contract, and I didn't think the Panthers were ready for a rebuild. I thought they could at least get 1 to 2 more good years out of that team, or possibly trade everybody off slowly and let Cam's numbers improve and maybe possibly rebuild around him. The fact of the matter is that when they let him go, he ended up with Belichick. Now, he got to Belichick, and he had to completely learn a brand new offense. And given the fact that the Patriots that year did not fully suck during the COVID year, you can't say that he had a bad time, especially being a quarterback first year in brand new scheme, brand new system. Okay, so what happened? He eventually got brought back to the Panthers, and the minute that things went downhill for a couple of games, or after a couple of games, Matt Rule and Carolina, they decided to throw him under the bus. Never mind the fact that Cam Newton was coming into a brand new offense. Never mind the fact that they fired the offensive coordinator shortly 2 weeks after he got there, and then he had to learn a completely brand new one. So while Cam Newton did cause some of the problems early in his career, he didn't cause any problems post his career and in the later stages of his career. A lot of it was very, very bad circumstance. Now, he's been lobbying to get back in the league for a while, which, by the way, seems a little bit hypocritical. But the thing is this here. You have to understand, Cam is still very, very much an alpha person. But still, though, while everybody's saying that he used the race card and he's screaming and hollering and people are saying he had feminine energy, I don't see it that way with Cam. I think Cam, for the most part, just had a certain style. It may have came off as feminine, more like, say, Michael Jackson than anything else, but I didn't see him cross-dressing or anything. He definitely had a very, very weird style. He definitely had a very weird look to him, and he definitely had a sense of arrogance. But nah, man, Cam didn't have no feminine energy. He had occasional blow-ups and whatnot. But here's the deal, man. If we're going to attack Cam Newton for having a couple of blow-ups on the sidelines, then where the hell is the attacks on Tom Brady for screaming and hollering at everybody he sees? Okay? I mean, I remember when they attacked Aaron Rodgers over throwing a friggin' Microsoft friggin' tablet on the ground, which, by the way, happened in that 2015 game against the Panthers. But yeah, we never gave Tom Brady any hell for all the times that he screamed and hollered and got caught chewing his offensive line out and stuff. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, look, Cam Newton had his bad days. He had his night and day from time to time when he played. Yeah, sometimes the energy kind of rubbed people the wrong way, but he was never a bad dude or a bad football player or a bad leader. It took him a while to get used to things, but like I said, a lot of the noise out there on him right now is just completely misplaced. Guys, with that right there being said, John Claymore here. If you like this content, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. Yeah, I got to end the video that way. Also, hit the notifications bell so that way you guys are notified when videos come out. And please leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to get you guys' feedback, and I'll see you guys later.